Hello, this is Ronald with Indicator Vault, and in this video I'm going to go over our Market Structure Pro indicator. In this video we'll be doing it on MT4. We have this indicator available here, and just to briefly go into the settings as far as what this is going to be highlighting where you will see some reversals, where you will see the highest probability zones that price, if they break above or below these zones, it should signify a market structure break. It's highlighting the most important kind of pivot areas in price action. And so just want to show these settings real quick. For uncrossed zones, we're going to have the light blue, light pink. And then for the crossed zones, we've got the dark blue and maroon. And I'm going to get into what those signify right here into this example. We've got the Australian dollar 1 hour chart. You can see we've got the light blue zone that it has drawn out. And then we've got the maroon colored zone that it is drawn out. So this is signifying a bearish crossed zone. This is signified an uncrossed bullish zone. So what exactly does that mean? Well, here, this down candle, before this big bearish candle formed, this was a pink zone, a light pink zone, like I showed in the settings. It was basically saying if this zone gets broken to the downside, it should now act as a type of resistance to push price down. It marked out this zone that created a new high. And so if it's going to remain bullish, then this zone should get respected. However, it's not marking it out as a bullish order block. Could you potentially take some trades from there to the upside? Sure. But this is not going to be marking out the highest probability order blocks to continued trends. It's going to be finding where some reversals will be happening. And we're going to go into a lower time frame in a minute here on this zone. But now this zone here, is it, for instance, it marked out this zone, and could there have been some shorts taken in here? Sure. As you can see, some wicks into about the 50% level of the zone, and then, a little bit of a drop, 56 pips. But this is now marking this out as if price breaks above it, price breaks above this zone, we should actually now start to see more upside. This is going to now act as a type of support to push price higher and potentially even take out this high and create a new higher high. So this is what it means when letting us know in market structure, where reversals are coming and which zones should actually be holding. So let's mark out this zone real quick. And we're going to go down into the 15-minute. Because then once I change time frames, it'll just show the zones for that specific time frame. So here we are on the 15-minute. And so this is a great way to even just refine entry. So on the 1 hour, we had this zone marked out where it's now purple. It was light pink, and then here we see that hourly break with this candle breaking below and closing below right here. And then on the 1 hour, if you remember what that wick was, it was these two candles just created a wick, and then it tanked. And so what do we see here? We see a gap right here in this candle, and also price trades up into this supply zone. If you took the conservative entry on the bottom of this supply with your stop above here, about a 23 pip stop, At its most, it ran to over 110 pips, about 117. So that's 5 to 1, almost 6 to 1 R&R just from refining to that. Just from seeing the light pink zone change to the maroon to the dark red zone. Price going back into it. It respected it on the hourly with no close above it. It only wicked into it. But going down to a lower time frame, we see it respect the more refined zones, the gap and these order blocks that push the price down. And then now, a little bit closer to more current, recent price action. Here on the 15-minute, it has drawn out this zone. We can see throughout these candles here, it was the light blue telling us, hey, if price breaks above the zone, this should now act as a type of support. So what do we see here? It is a little bit messy, but look, price is not closing in the zone at all. In fact, just with this most recent push, it has just barely gone above here and created a new higher high going above here. So if this continues to hold, we could even see these highs taken out as well. And then here on the daily, we'll go back up to this time frame just to give some more examples. And this is all on one pair, just on different time frames, just refining the zones. Here we have this zone marked out. This created a higher high. This was light pink until this candle here breaks above it. And then that's when it turned the maroon color. And it's now telling us, okay, now this zone should act as a type of resistance to push price down. And so we saw the same fractal on the 15-minute chart, right? Price comes back up into it, never closes above it, wicks into, so we can see this high, lines up here, wicks into the most recent supply zone, and then just continues to fall. And now we've got this same thing that we just saw even on the 15-minute. This zone marked out. Price goes, breaks below it. Now it, light blue saying if this is broken above, we should now see it act as a type of support. We see that. Price breaks above it. It's now dark blue. And then just today's daily candle has now wicked into it and now continued up. So far, looking like a good entry on the 15-minute. And actually, since we were just there, let me mark out this. See if I can get it a little bit more refined. All right, so this purple box is going to represent the daily bullish zone. And if you remember, we're now in a 15-minute or playing off of a 15-minute bullish zone as well. So this all represents the daily candle. Remember, it's a down day. It's coming to the daily bullish zone here. And so what do we wait for if we're using just this indicator? Wait for a bullish zone to form. It got formed here. If you can see the dark now showing up. The one we just went over. Price comes down into it, and so far looks like it's respecting it. And so you could potentially be catching a massive up move with the Australian dollar just from these two simple confirmations. Go into the daily, a higher time frame, find a bullish zone, right? That's what this purple box is. And then just waiting for a lower time frame confirmation of another bullish zone forming. It got formed here in the New York session, right at the beginning of the New York session. Comes down into it, taps it, and continues up. And if we're expecting that zone to hold, we're expecting another higher high to form. Just to take out this candle, it's over 110 pips. To take out the next recent high after that is over 250 pips. So I hope this video was helpful. That's our Market Structure Pro, and this is on MT4. Extremely powerful, identifying the most significant, basically pivot zones in the market. Just from these examples, I wanted to just do just one pair instead of jump from pair to pair. This will show up on all these different pairs that you want to look at. You can become, a master of just one. Huge trades. Just this one here, if you caught near the top of the zone, off of, playing off of this supply zone that I mentioned earlier, just from the daily chart, that's almost 300 pips right there. And then refining into lower time frames. So again, it's a simple indicator. It just marks out these rectangles, these zones to play off of. But if you know how to use them and know how to find even just the most recent supply demand zones, that are forming either inside the bearish zones or just above the bearish zones, they're going to give some great entries with great risk to reward profits in them. So I hope this video was helpful, and until next time, best of luck trading.